Section 4. Yudhishthira said, Ye have already said what offices ye will respectively perform. I also, according to the measure of my sense, have said what office I will perform. Let our priest, accompanied by charioteers and cooks, repair to the abode of Drupada, and there maintain our Agnihotra fires. And let Indrasena and the others, taking with them the empty cars, speedily proceed to Dwaravati. Even this is my wish. And let all those maid-servants of Draupadi go to the Panchalas with our charioteers and cooks, and let all of them say, We do not know where the Pandavas have gone, leaving us at the lake of Dvaitavana. Vaisampayana said, Having thus taken counsel of one another, and told one another the offices they would discharge, the Pandavas sought Dhaumya's advice, and Dhaumya also gave them advice in the following words, saying, Ye sons of Pandu, the arrangements ye have made regarding the Brahmanas, your friends, cars, weapons, and the sacred fires are excellent. But it behoveth thee, O Yudhishthira and Arjuna especially, to make provision for the protection of Draupadi. Ye king, ye are all acquainted with the characters of men, yet whatever may be your knowledge, friends may from affection be permitted to repeat what is already known. Even this is subservient to the internal interests of virtue, pleasure, and profit. I shall therefore speak to you something. Mark ye, to dwell with a king is alas difficult. I shall tell you, a princess, how ye may reside in the royal household, avoiding every fault. Ye Kauravas, honorably or otherwise, ye will have to pass this year in the king's palace, undiscovered by those that know you. Then in the 14th year ye will live happily. O son of Pandu, in this world the cherisher and protector of all beings, the king who is a deity is an embodied form. He has a great fire sanctified with all the mantras, and one should present himself before the king after having obtained his permission at the gate. No one should keep contact with the royal secrets, nor should one desire a seat which another may covet. He who doth not, regarding himself to be a favorite, occupy the king's car or coach or seat or vehicle or elephant. He is alone worthy of dwelling in a royal household. He that sits not upon a seat, the occupation of which is calculated to raise alarm in the minds of the malicious people, is alone worthy of dwelling in a royal household. No one should unasked offer counsel to a king. Paying homage in season unto the king, one should silently and respectfully sit beside the king. For king's sake, umbrage at babblers and disgrace laying counselors. A wise person should not contact friendship with the king's wife, nor with the inmates of the inner apartments, nor with those that are objects of royal displeasure. One about the king should do even the most unimportant acts, and with the king's knowledge. Behaving thus with a sovereign, one doth not come by harm. Even if an individual attain the highest office, he should, as long as he is not asked or commanded, consider himself as born blind, having regard to the king's dignity. For who repressors of foes, the rulers of men, do not forgive even their sons and grandsons and brothers when they happen to tamper with their dignity. Kings should be served with regardful care, even as Agni or another god, and he that is disloyal to his sovereign is certainly destroyed by him. Renouncing anger and pride and negligence, it behoveth a man to follow the course directed by the monarch. After carefully deliberating on all things, a person should set forth before the king those topics that are both profitable and pleasant. But should a subject be profitable without being pleasant, he should still communicate it despite its disagreeableness. It behoveth a man to be well disposed towards the king in all his interests, and not to indulge in speech that is alike unpleasant and profitless. Always thinking, I am not liked by the king, one should banish negligence, and be intent on bringing about what is agreeable and advantageous to him. He that swerveth not from his place, he that is not friendly to those that are hostile to the king, he that striveth not to do wrong to the king, is alone worthy to dwell in a royal household. A learned man should sit either on the king's right or the left. He should not sit behind him, for that is the place appointed for armed guards, and to sit before him is always interdicted. Let none, when the king is engaged in doing anything in respect of his servants, come forward pressing himself zealously before others. For even if the aggrieved be very poor, such conduct would still be inexcusable. It behoveth no man to reveal to others any lie the king may have told, inasmuch as the king bears ill to those that report his falsehoods. Kings also always disregard persons that regard themselves as learned. No man should be proud thinking, I am brave or I am intelligent, but a person obtains the good graces of a king and enjoys the good things of life by behaving agreeably to the wishes of the king. And O Bharata, obtaining things agreeable and wealth also, which is so hard to acquire, a person should always do what is profitable as well as pleasant to the king. What man that is respected by the wise can even think of doing mischief to one whose hair is great impediment, and whose favor is productive of mighty fruits? No one should move his lips, arms, and thighs before the king. A person should speak and spit before the king only mildly, in the presence of even laughable objects. A man should not break out into loud laughter like a maniac, nor should one show unreasonable gravity by containing himself to the utmost. One should smile modestly to show his interest in what is before him. He that is ever mindful of the king's welfare, and he is neither accelerated by reward nor depressed by disgrace, is alone worthy of dwelling in a royal household. That learned courtier who always pleaseth the king and his son with agreeable speeches succeedeth in dwelling in a royal household as a favorite. The favorite courtier who, having lost the royal favor for just reason, does not speak evil of the king, regains prosperity. The man who serveth the king or liveth in his domains, if sagacious, should speak in praise of the king, both in his presence and absence. The courtier who attempts to obtain his end by employing force on the king cannot keep his place long and incurs also the risk of death. None should, for purpose of self-interest, open communications with the king's enemies, nor should one distinguish himself above the king in matters requiring ability and talents. He that is always cheerful and strong, brave and truthful, and mild of subdued senses, and who followeth his master like his shadow, is alone worthy to dwell in a royal household. He that on being entrusted with a work cometh forward saying, I will do this, is alone worthy of living in a royal household. He that on being entrusted with a task, either within the king's dominion or out of it, he never feareth to undertake it, is alone fit to reside in a royal household. He that living away from his home doth not remember his dear ones, and who undergoeth present misery in expectation of future happiness, is alone dwelling in a royal household. One should not dress like the king, nor should one indulge in laughter in the king's presence, nor should one disclose royal secrets. By acting thus one may win royal favor. Commissioned to a task, one should not touch bribes, for by such appropriation one becometh liable to fetters or death. The robes, ornaments, cars, and other things which the king may be pleased to bestow should always be used for. By this one winneth the royal favor. Ye children, controlling your minds to spend this year, ye sons of Pandu, behaving in this way, regaining your own kingdom, ye may live as ye please. Yudhishthira said, We have been well taught by thee. Blessed be thou. There is none that could say so to us, save our mother Kunti, and Vidura of great wisdom. It behoveth thee to do all that is necessary. now for our departure and for enabling us to come safely through this vow, and as well as for our victory over the foe. Asampayana continued, thus addressed by Yudhishthira, Dhaumya, that best of Brahmanas, performed according to the ordinance, the rites ordained in respect of departure, and lighting up their fires he offered with mantras, oblations on them for the prosperity and success of the Pandavas, as for their reconquest of the whole world, and walking round those fires and round the Brahmanas of ascetic wealth. The Sikhs set out placing Yajnaseni in their front, and when those heroes had departed, Dhaumya, that best of ascetics, taking their sacred fire set out for the Panchalas, and Indrasena and others, already mentioned, went to the Yadavas, and looking after the horses and the cars of the Pandavas, passed their time happily in privacy. Thus ended the fourth section in the Pandava-Pravesa Parva of the Virata Parva.